So, if you've been on this channel for a while, everybody knows I love Batman.
Loves Batman.
Like, I'm surprised I didn't even think about bringing my Batman mask to do this review.
She loves it so much that one time I was like, oh, I wonder who her favorite That's a very stupid question. I know exactly who her favorite superhero is.
Captain America! I wasn't impressed with the Man of Steel.
No.
So, going into this movie, I had, like, super low expectations. On the ground.
See, Man of Steel is a movie that I'm always going to remember because the explosions were literally so numerous and so soothing and rhythmic that I started to fall asleep.
See, it just gave me a seriously awful migraine.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised it did that either. I remember it and I was like, that was a bad movie.
So here we are, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, aka let's do an entire franchise, you know, kickstart an entire franchise in one movie when this has taken Marvel 8 years.
Marvel started off their MCU very cleverly because they weren't like, hey, this is the MCU. They were like, here's a movie about a superhero. Oh, good, you liked it? Here's another movie about another superhero. You're following me? Good. Here's another one.
And now we're gonna put them all together in one movie.
What? Yeah, you guys are excited about it? Good. This is the MCU. Now,
here we are, still doing it.
But DC is like, no, we must catch up to Marvel. Take the franchise, take the franchise, take the franchise.
The one thing I noticed about this movie was who is it marketed to? Like, who is your intended market? Like, there are certain things, like, everyone knows who Batman is, and everyone knows who Superman is. So there's definitely going to be that draw of people who are like, I'm going to go see Batman and Superman fight, and it's going to be awesome. And they sit their butt in the chair, and they spend 3 hours just being slapped in the face with really kind of random comic references to kind of start setting up a story. Like, oh, here's the Flash. Oh, this kind of alludes to Flashpoint, and this is here because of The Dark Knight Returns, and this is here because of Injustice, and it's just kind of like...
I don't care about that. You literally advertise this as Batman versus Superman. Can we get a little more fighty over here?
It's like the ultimate gladiator match ever. Son of Krypton versus Bat of Gotham. Like, come on.
3 hours later.
3 hours later, we're gonna fight for 7 minutes, and spoilers, why do we stop fighting? Because both our mother's name, Martha.
So weird. So weird. I was like, at first because, okay, spoiler alert, Batman's got Superman on the ground and he's like stepping on his throat, and Lex Luthor has Superman's mother trapped, right? And Superman had originally come there like, listen, Lex Luthor wants us to fight, but I don't want to fight. I really just need to go save my mother. Let's put away our differences. But Batman's like, no, let's fight. We'll fight.
He punches him once, and then it's like, oh really?
Game on. So anyways, Bat finally gets Superman on the ground, and he's stepping on his throat, and Superman says, Martha. And wait, does he call his mother by his first name? And I actually honestly thought that he was trying to say mother, which would have made so much sense, and then Batman just kind of like misheard him because he's stepping on his throat and was like, and just heard his mother's name. Now that might have been clever.
Because you have forced us to watch the Batman origin story again. Like, how many times? I have this kind of problem with superhero movies right now because with all the random reboots, we've seen these things rebooted how many times? Like how we have a new Spider-Man movie coming, and I swear to God, if it's another Spider-Man origin story, I will be really... I'm sick of it. Like, at this point, these characters have been around for decades.
Like, we get it.
We get it. We know that Batman's parents were killed in Crime Alley. We know that Superman is Kal-El sent from Krypton and becomes Superman. Like...
We got it.
We got it. You don't need to tell us again. We all know.
We are clear on this detail.
Like, and it's not even like they do anything different with it. Like, if you think of the Tim Burton Batman movie, how they kind of spun it, which kind of upset a lot of people that it was the Joker who shot Batman's parents.
But hey, at least
it did something different. Okay, so what did you think of Batfleck?
he wasn't bad.
No.
Like, Batman's kind of broody. He kind of pulled it off.
He was a little bit crazy.
Yeah, but okay, fine. This is like 20 years later Batman, where he's been through some shit. He's not hanging on to his marbles as well as he used to. And fine. Alright. He can be a little moody. And you know what? His relationship with Alfred just
Alfred was probably my favorite character. Because I felt for him.
Yeah.
I felt for him so hard. One, because he's Jeremy Irons, and Jeremy Irons is awesome. He's the youngest Alfred we have seen on film so far in live action.
It's true.
Like, he's fun. He has some, like, him and Lawrence Fishburne, I think, had the best lines in the movie.
They were cute. They were memorable!
Yeah, they were memorable.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill as Superman, still a good choice. He looks like Superman. Like, he has the chin and he has the hair. And he had an interesting story, which is weird for me to say because I'm not a super big fan of Superman. I find him kind of boring.
Yeah.
His story to me was a lot more interesting than Batman's.
Well, okay, because think about it this way. They're like, you're all powerful. How can that really actually screw you up when everybody else is normal? And it's like, oh, that's new. Nobody's actually touched on that before.
They touch on that a lot in the comics, but it's not like...
It's when you think of Superman, that's not what you think about.
You think of the big Boy Scout, you know? You think about the, I'm gonna rescue your cat from a tree. But on the flip side of that, Superman was super broody, too. Like, this entire movie was everyone brooding, and then Wonder Woman shows up and kicks ass.
Yeah.
That is like...
That's the entire movie.
And then there's Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, you know what? I'm okay.
Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor was probably the highlight of the movie.
I think it was.
And the reason was because everyone else is, like, super serious. Like, super serious. And everything is very kind of like, oh, you know, we're a serious film. Like, we are not your comic book Marvel film. Like, we are dealing with issues, and you don't want to live in a world with superheroes because look at the outcome. Look how horrifying it is. And then there's Jesse Eisenberg, who is spouting all of this bullshit. Like, all of these, like, grand religious statements. But he's doing it in a way that's kind of campy and ridiculous. And it's mesmerizing.
Oh, God. Like, you do not look away from him.
When he's on screen, you are watching him and his, like, weird, like, line delivery. And his kind of, like, he gets in people's personal space. And he's really creepy. Like, at one point, he's talking to this... I think he was a senator, and he's like, oh, what do you want? Oh, I want access to General Zod's body. And I want...
I forgot about this.
And I want access to the spaceship. And he, like, takes a candy, and he just, like, pushes it into his mouth, and, like, he's just uncomfortable.
In a movie that was taking itself way too seriously, he gave it a serious reality check here.
I think he was a good villain. I wouldn't really classify him as a good Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor is kind of very, like... He's, like, business savvy. He's well put together. He's, like, his methods may be a little bit, you know, well, not a little bit, kind of awful. He is a supervillain, but he's very controlled. And everything he does, like, follows, like, pretty solid logic. This Lex Luthor,
He's not.
What is his motivation? This entire movie, tell me, what is his motivation? I'm going to make Batman. I'm going to make Batman and Superman fight.
Why?
I'm going to make Doomsday. Like, I don't...
Why?
It's like, why? What
What purpose is this serving?
Yeah, like...
you know what? But they were just trying to, like, cash in on, like, the Lex Luthor name. Because, like, who's gonna come and watch Batman and Superman and rando guy over here who's just crazy?
If I was in their shoes, I would have had some other villain, and I would have introduced this as a Lex Luthor origin story as well. Because Lex Luthor and Superman are supposed to be, like... They're arch nemesis.
Yeah.
So Lex Luthor could be, you know, they could have done the whole thing with, like, Lex Luthor's company is starting to rebuild the city, and he's kind of like this suave business guy who's just, like, anti-Superman, and very clearly anti-Superman. And then, you know what, if you want him to be crazy when the doors are closed, like, you know, have a public persona and a personal persona, that would have been really cool. Because I get what they're trying to say about, you know, like, startup culture and millennial culture. Like, LexCorp was clearly Google. Because when you meet them, they are playing basketball. Like, it's a shot at, like...
Yeah.
That kind of culture. Like, the new kind of, like... tech industry
Yeah.
culture. Which I kind of liked, but it just wasn't really handled well, you know?
No.
Like, who would want to work for him? He's nuts.
Yeah. Every time your boss came in the room, you'd want to immediately leave and smoke a cigarette, even if you've never smoked a day in your life.
Yeah, he's just so uncomfortable.
Wonder Woman was amazing. First of all, the actress, like, I don't mean to, like, judge her by her appearance, but she's beautiful. Like,
Oh, yeah.
just, like, you look at her and you're just like, well, I tried.
I loved every single costume change she had. And you know what? I was, like, iffy about the Wonder Woman costume. I didn't really care, because, like, I was too busy watching her kick the shit out of Doomsday.
She did. She won MVP of this movie. Like
she's on the Turkish airline, and she sees that, like, oh no, something's gonna happen, and oh, I've interacted with Bruce Wayne, and he's shown me all this shit, and I haven't met Superman, but you know, someone has to protect the city while the two children fight.
oh, fuck it, I'll go over there and I'll beat some
And, like-
mother-loving monster.
And just, like, everything about her was cool. Like, her musical intro and, like, her, like, fighting. She was the most, like, she was a warrior.
The other two were just figuring out how to use their hands and legs.
I liked how, like, when Superman is exposed to the kryptonite, he doesn't know what to do because he's never experienced pain. It made me think of Dr. Horrible. Like, this is what pain feels like, because once Batman starts landing punches, you can definitely see it in his face, like,
What's the protocol here?
and then, like, freaking Doomsday is so out of Batman's pay grade. Batman, there is nothing Batman can do but, like, grapple away from everything.
Run away!
Like,
Run away!
he's like, I will shoot it with krypton gas, but that's about all I can do, because, like, that thing is going to destroy me.
I laughed so hard when they're like, oh look, there's an unidentified monster. Let's nuke it.
And
like, that is plan A.
And the other thing, did you notice how they were constantly, like, making sure to mention that there were no people?
Yeah.
What, it's like, oh, you know, there's this unidentified thing downtown and stuff is happening, but at least it's late at night and, like, the downtown core is pretty much empty.
That never happens.
Or, like, oh, the thing has landed on an uninhabited island. Like, it was just, like, very, like, okay, we get it that you were really uncomfortable with the fact that we pretty much, like, destroyed Metropolis in the last movie, and that was a lot of death. Like, that was a lot of death.
That was a shit ton of death. But yeah, no, option one was, let's nuke it. This won't be problematic.
Nope.
Yeah.
I liked how the movie kind of started with Batman interacting with the end of Man of Steel. I thought that was really well paced while he was driving around and seeing things. But I don't understand how Batman sees Superman flying through the air with another alien, crashes into a building, and is just like, he's at fault.
That bitch.
That bitch. I'm gonna kill him. Clearly this is General Zod. Like, clearly, and Superman and Batman, they fight a lot. They have two completely different ideologies, but they, you know, believe pretty much in the same thing. They fight a lot. But if you're gonna call a movie Batman versus Superman, I want more than 7 minutes of them fighting.
Oh, for sure. Like, price of admission right there. No.
And okay, I guess it was kind of clever to have them meet each other at first as Clark Kent
Yeah, that's fine.
and Bruce Wayne. That was funny.
Well, it's pretty typical too. Right?
Yeah,
like,
but
you do like Matt Murdock and the Punisher. Like,
yeah,
you know, okay, fine.
But
it just makes for interesting conversation.
But at the same time, the whole, like, Lex Luthor showing up is like, oh, Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. Oh, you shouldn't pick a fight with this guy. And it's just like, why
would you say that?
Why?
That makes no sense.
Why do you even, how do you even know who Clark Kent is? He is, like, the lowest of the low reporter for the Daily Planet.
Really?
Like, personally, if you were gonna do that, I would have been Lois Lane and Bruce Wayne, you know? Because, like,
yeah.
Lois has that kind of, like, rep, and I liked her in this movie a lot more than I liked her in Man of Steel. I thought that she definitely kind of had that hard-hitting reporter, like, vibe.
Mm-hmm. What about the dream sequence?
I was about to ask you the exact question. Batman falls asleep, and all of a sudden you change the channel, and Batman is in the desert. And Metropolis, like, off in the distance, but everything's, like, awful, and he gets tricked into, like, kryptonite that's actually a trap, and then demons show up, And, like, Batman watches all of his people die, and then Superman, like, kills the rest of his people, and it's like, you took her from me. And I'm just like, okay, this started out Dark Knight Dark Knight Returns. Because we have an older Batman, and he's fighting Superman, but now we're in Justice. Because Lois Lane died. Like, it was just like...
Wait, what? And then they're like, don't pay too much attention to this. This has no bearing on the plot right now.
Because he wakes up, and then there's the Flash, like, reaching out of, like, a portal, just like, oh shit, I'm too early! Lois Lane is the key. And then he wakes up, and I'm just like, okay, did we put this here as a dream sequence to possibly lead in to the Justice League? Because he's like,
definitely
find us, but did we, like, do the extra layer of the dream in case it's not well received? And then it's like, it's just Batman being crazy. Like, did they like build in a cover your ass? Is that what that was?
But at this point, did Bruce Wayne not, I don't think he even knew about the Flash. Like, I don't think he had gone into that drive.
No.
So
he was in the process of cracking the drive.
Yeah, so it had to have been real, because how the fuck could he have known about the Flash? It's not like his brain is just inserting
this. You also gotta remember that earlier on in the movie, he dreamed of Man-Bat, the gigantic bat thing, and Man-Bat actually is a Batman character, so I don't know if that was just Batman's weird Batman delusion of becoming more of a beast, or if it was actually, like, Man-Bat.
Who thought of that name, by the way? Because kudos on thinking outside the box.
Man-Bat was a scientist who was trying to do cell regeneration and, you know, vampire bats, and, like, ended up injecting himself, and he turned into a big bat creature and accidentally killed his wife. He shows up in Arkham Knight.
Oh, fun.
He gave me a nightmare.
Yeah.
I think if there's anything else we missed. So, there wasn't really a plot, nothing made sense, no one had motivation, Wonder Woman was awesome.
It was a good 45 minutes too long.
Superman's dead, but he's not. It felt like it was comic book logic.
You know what? The one part I liked, though, like, was when he's going through the drive and he finds, like, the anomaly people.
Yeah.
That was interesting. That one I'm like, ooh, look at Aquaman. That was the one point where my interest, like, really peaked.
Then there was, like, the really kind of awful ending of our friend Lex Luthor, you know, like, oh, Lex Luthor is now in a cage, and Batman shows up, and Lex Luthor, you know, like, they're coming, they know the god is gone, you know, ding, 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 the bell is ringing, ding, 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 and you're just kind of sitting there, and, like, you know that if it was a comic panel, it would look really cool, because, you know, like, the ding, ding, ding fading away. But who's coming? When was the bell ring? When did he learn about these people? Clearly it's Darkseid. Like, we know it's Darkseid.
I guess he learned about it from the ship.
Yeah, but it's just like one-off random line. There is a deleted scene where he actually talks to someone who, like, they're not sure if it's Darkseid's father or his uncle, but if they had left that in,
at least you would understand.
You would understand what's going on. Like, you kept in the weird, like, Dark Knight Returns dream sequence, which was like 8 minutes too long, but you didn't leave in the 40 seconds of, like, explanation for your sequel.
And so they, like, have him going ding, 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 but I want them to go back in time and put that as the end part of their original trailer.
Yeah.
And have everybody just being like, what the fuck, and start dying laughing.
Batman and Superman bonding over the mother's name, but Superman is now dead in the ground, and Batman's like, you need to do right by him. I'm just like, you were trying to kill him like 10 minutes ago!
Not even.
What? I'm gonna make the Justice League. Help me, Diana. I'm just, poor Wonder Woman is just, like, walking off, and the next time we'll see her will hopefully be in the awesome Wonder Woman movie with Chris Pine.
Which will be awesome, because it has to be awesome, because please don't fuck this up.
Wonder Woman. She has not had, like, a live-action, theatrical release movie anywhere, and she is one of the big three.
So do it! Oh, my other favorite part about the ending was their weird cutting, where they're, like, at the grave, and they're like, oh, Bruce, or he's in the ground, Superman, no. And then they cut away to, I think, Bruce Wayne and Jesse Eisenberg in the cell, and then they cut back to Lois Lane at the grave, and you're like,
How long
She's still there? It's been like a fucking day because
And then you realize that no, it hasn't, because she's still holding the chunk of dirt.
I know,
It's just like,
but it really like jars your
Yeah.
senses because he was there and then he was somewhere else very far away and now we're back to her and she's still standing at the grave.
and then you gotta think about poor Soups, because he's in that coffin, he's probably alive, and he gets his power from the sun, and so he's gonna wake up completely depleted and probably just be in his little box and maybe go like a little bit crazy.
Probably go a little bit crazy and be like, what the fuck, guys? Dead for 2 seconds and you buried me? What the fuck, guys?
This was a movie that we watched that was extremely long, that hopefully good things will kind of sprout from, maybe, probably not, because Zack Snyder still has the Justice League and Warner Brothers is ignoring
Everyone.
all the like dislike of the movie.
La 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 la.
Also, where the hell was Commissioner Gordon? Where was he? Like, we got all the other side characters. It's Batman versus Superman. Where is Batman's, like, squad?
It was too much. If you wanted a 4-hour movie. So anyways.
What did you think of Batman versus Superman?
Are we crazy? We're not crazy.
I don't think we're crazy.
So tell us what you think in the comments. Bye, guys.